come here in the Philippines, chances are you're gonna end up in some kind of relationship, whether you plan to marry a Filipina or you're just cohabitating. You're gonna want to watch this video because your assets are at risk if you don't take the proper steps. The good news is that Grace is here to help you understand the laws here, which are different from the West, and tell you what you can do to protect yourself. So guys, I'm going to bring in Gracie. Hi, Gracie, are you there?
Hi, P. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you again.
Hello, it's so nice to see you. I know I miss you so much. I think this is going to be a very interesting interaction with you, Gracie, because I heard that there's a divorce bill currently in the committee. They're talking about that, and also we're going to talk about the cohabitation laws. So here's my first question. Are you ready?
Go ahead, fire.
Fire in the hole, look alive. Okay, now here's something a lot of my subscribers don't consider. And in the US, a man can protect his pension from an ex-wife. He cannot protect that because it's automatically the ex-wife has a share when they get divorced for the pension. This is a pension like you get from being a policeman for 20 years, you get a pension, or you're an employee from Amazon, you get a pension. So a percentage of it will go to the ex-wife depending on how long they've been married. And what about here in the Philippines though? Can a Filipina claim part of a man's pension?
Yeah, if it is the kind of pension that you mentioned, it is an extra income of the Westerner. It's definitely going to be part of their conjugal or absolute community of property if they don't execute a prenup agreement regarding such arrangement as with respect to the pension, which entitles the Filipina spouse the right over that pension, which is equivalent to 50%.
50%. Does it matter how long they've been married? Does it have to be like 8 years, 5 years, 3 years? How about just less than a year? Is a Filipina entitled to 50% of the pension?
If you don't have a prenup agreement, of course, even the second day of your marriage, the Filipina is already entitled 50% of your properties if you don't execute an agreement. The default provision of our law is absolute community of property.
All right. So yeah, as I said before, many times me and Grace have been advising you guys, if you're going to marry here in the Philippines, you should get a prenup no matter what. But we can assure that our prenup agreements are airtight here in the Philippines and it's going to be enforced. So guys, please execute a prenuptial agreement. It's not it's not expensive. Protect yourself.
It's exactly.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about foreigners that don't want to be married to a Filipina, but they want to just cohabitate. So what are the pitfalls? What if a foreigner purchase something like a vehicle or land, and what happens if they're just cohabitating and they broke up? What would happen? How can is the Filipina entitled to those properties?
Well, the provisions in our law that governs the cohabitation of a husband and wife without the benefit of marriage is under Article 147 of the Family Code and under Article 148 of the Family Code. Under Article 147, this governs the cohabitation of those who have no legal impediment to marry. Let's say each one of them can remarry each other, but because they just don't want to get married, they just want to cohabit, this provision under our family code governs their property regimes. So under this provision, the provision states that their wages, salaries shall be owned by them in equal shares. and property acquired by both of them through their work or industry shall be governed by the rules on co-ownership. So in the absence of proof of the contrary, that they generated them on their own or they used their own money to acquire these properties, the presumption is they obtain it in joint effort, work or industry, and shall be owned by them in equal share. And let it be noted that the efforts consisted in the care and maintenance of the family and of the household can be considered as a contribution of the other spouse contribution in the acquisition of this property. So again, under this provision, there is a presumption that you acquired the property in joint effort and presumption that both of you has equal shares on the wages and salaries generated during your cohabitation. On the other hand, if there is a legal impediment, meaning let's say you're cohabiting with someone who is still married or someone who has not acquired the proper annulment of his or her marriage, there is a legal impediment for you to remarry, then Article 148 of the Family Code governs. So under this provision, the properties acquired by the parties through their actual contribution shall belong to the co-ownership. So there is no presumption on this one. In order for one party to invoke that he or she is entitled to the property acquired during the cohabitation, he or she has to provide proof. Let it be noted also that under this provision, the wages and salaries earned by each party exclusively belongs to the party who is earning or generating this one. There is no presumption as to the share or equal share of the parties under this under the cohabitation.
Oh, I see. So even if you're just cohabitating with a Filipina, then you're not protected. There's a presumption that the Filipina is entitled 50% of the asset during the cohabitation. But how can a foreigner protect himself? Does he have to keep receipts, to prove that it's his money?
Actually, it's quite absurd to be keeping receipts, right? But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the only way to rebut the presumption. Remember, under 147 speaks of a presumption, and it's not conclusive because it's merely a presumption that can be rebutted. So if you're able to provide proof that the property that was acquired during the cohabitation came from your exclusive money from the states or from whatever source that the Filipina has nothing to do with, then you can exclusively prove to the court later on that that is your exclusive property and the Filipina has no share on the same. However, let it be noted again that the court may consider the contribution of the Filipina, the way she took care of the family, the effort she exerted in raising the children as her partial contribution in acquiring the property. So the Filipina may be granted a value on the amount or the value of the property acquired during the cohabitation, but that depends on the discretion of the court now.
I see. But let's talk about the length of cohabitation. How long together? A year? 2 years? Does it start right away?
Well, it's very different in the West because there is a time frame that for the court to consider that you're cohabiting. In the Philippines, if you're living together as husband and wife, regardless of how long you've been living together, you automatically fall under Article 147 or under 148. You're cohabiting. Because it is not our culture in the Philippines to be living together if you're just boyfriend or girlfriend. So we don't consider the length of time before the court can declare you're cohabiting. As long as you live together as husband and wife, regardless of how short or how long you've been living together, definitely that's gonna be cohabitation under 147 or 148 of the family code.
Wait. So meaning if you're just, even if you're just living together for about a month or even about a week, you're automatically considered like a common law spouse, because in our culture, we're not allowed to live together if we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
Correct. As long as the way you live together is you treat each other as husband and wife, or exclusively. There's a term here, exclusively with
Oh,
each other as husband and wife. So
exclusively. So
yeah, so there's already a hint for the Westerners, so he can be exempted from this provision if he keeps another Filipina in another house. So it's not gonna be exclusive anymore. So
okay, so all right. So what if, yeah, so it's not exclusive. So this is not applicable if the foreigner has a second girlfriend in a different condo unit or something like that, because it's not exclusive.
correct. This provision will not govern anymore.
Okay,
But the problem with that one is watch
so
out
meaning
with watch out, the families of either of the woman is gonna come after you. You might not be judicially sanctioned, but you will be sanctioned by the families of these women. Good luck to you.
I can't wait. I'm still absorbing this. So meaning, if they're cheating, they're not judicially sanctioned, but watch out. Yeah, I agree, because the Filipinas family can be vindictive in that department. So, okay, just to get it straight, regardless of how long you've been together, even just for weeks, months, years, as long as you're cohabitating, you're entitled to 50% of the assets during the cohabitation. So, guys, watch out. So, one last question, Gracie, is does it matter though if they're just living together? What if friends with benefits, but they're cohabitating? Does it still apply?
If a Filipina wants to invoke 147 for her to be entitled to a portion of the property, of course she's gonna say to the court that we're living as husband and wife, even if we're just girlfriend or boyfriend, because we do what husband and wife does. So
Like what?
that is what
Like what,
considered
Tracy?
in court.
Did you husband and wife?
I did that one. From the very first day we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we did what husband and wife does.
Like mommies and daddies? Okay, so next question. Can you get a cohabitation agreement? Like if you're getting married, you're getting a prenup, but can you get a cohabitation agreement to protect your assets?
Unfortunately, no. We are not like the West we're in.